Hey everyone, this is the Lastblood 26 channel. This is my first review video, so bear with me. What I have here is a Pohl Force Quebec 2. It's a new knife by Pohl Force, kind of a remake of the Randall knife, which some of you guys might be familiar with. It was a knife design for Vietnam soldiers in the Vietnam War. And then Pohl Force recently did his own version of the original Randall knife with the Quebec 1. And now we have an updated version here of the Quebec 2. So, first impressions of this knife, unreal. Awesome, awesome knife. Really, really good quality, as expected from Pohl Force. I'm an avid knife collector. I have all kinds of knives from buck to Benchmade to tops. I collect a lot of fixed blades. I collect a lot of folders. I use all my knives out in the outdoors, out in the bush. Do a lot of bush crafting, batoning, things like that. Tactical use as well. I used fixed blades when I was in the military, just for everyday tasks. I spent a lot of time 21 years in the military, really. So I can appreciate a good combat knife such as this, as well as my favorite pastime out in the bush, bush crafting, field crafting, and this is a perfect combination of both. Just extremely well-built knife. And that's what I love most about Pohl Force knives, is just the absolute quality that you get with the knife. You can't beat the quality, and you can't beat the customer service. That's one thing I'm going to mention right away when it comes to a Pohl Force knife, is you're getting passion behind the project, behind the knife, coming from Dietmar Pohl. And you just don't get that with other knife companies anymore. You don't get that personal touch. For example, when you contact Benchmade or you contact Buck, you're going to talk to a customer service representative who's just there to make a dollar, doesn't know anything about knives, and really isn't very helpful. But when you talk to Pohl Force company, a lot of times you're talking, when you email them, when you correspond with them, you're talking to Dietmar himself, the CEO, the founder of Pohl Force Knives. And he's extremely passionate about what he does. He's extremely passionate about his knives. So yes, they're a little pricier. You'll see on reviews and what have you. Sometimes people complaining about the price, but you know what? It's worth that extra dollar. It's worth that extra few dollars to get a knife that is really good quality, where the quality control is taken care of. Because there's nothing worse than getting a new knife out of the package, and the blade isn't sharp, the grind is bad, just poor, bad lines, hot spots, all that kind of stuff. But like look at the perfect contouring, super smooth, right? It's just one of the fine details that you'll get with a Pohl Force knife. Very, very similar to Lion Steel knives. If you know Lion Steel, you can appreciate the Lion Steel quality, and you get the same quality with Pohl Force. And a lot of times they do collaborations together, where Lion Steel does make knives for Pohl Force. Like, for example, the new Prepper 1 is a Lion Steel, as well as the new Legacy knife, MK9 Legacy, is made by Pohl Lion Steel. So you get quality when you're getting a Pohl Force, and uniqueness. They're limited numbers, so not everybody has one of these knives. You get a Benchmade, you get a Buck. Everybody has one. I go to knife meets with my knives, with my friends. Hello CKG, shout out to you guys, my family there. But yeah, you go to a knife meet, put all the knives on the table, and guaranteed you're going to be the only one with a Pohl Force. But 3 or 4 other people are going to have that other Benchmade, or that Buck, or the Tops, or Bark River. you know, whatever your fancy is. Yeah, you know, I'll probably one of maybe 5 people in all of Canada who has this knife. So, you know, you can definitely appreciate that and pay the couple extra dollars, you know, to get something that is going to be unique to you, because they have a unique serial number, right? 220310. I'm the only one that has this knife. It's individually serialized, so that's really cool. And so for this knife here, it's 12 inches overall, and I believe it's about a just over 7-inch blade, 7.5-inch blade, 12 inches overall, right? It's got some good weight to it, but it's not too heavy and it's not too light, which is perfect for batoning. It's D2 steel. That's been you know, some controversy with D2 and the steel. We're not going to get into it too far, because that could be a whole different video. But I will say I stand by Pohl Force's D2 steel. They do an incredible heat treatment on their D2, and it makes it extremely tough, extremely versatile, very, very sharp right out of the box. A beautiful edge on it, and the edge will last you a long time. I have a tactical 8, and the edge lasted me a year of hard use, fieldcraft, bushcraft, batoning especially. You know, you can take it to the field and be reassured that it's not going to break on you. It's going to be, and it's going to stay sharp. And that's the great thing with D2, is it retains its edge, and corrosion resistant. So it is a little harder to sharpen, but you're not going to need to sharpen it in the field. You know, feel free to sharpen it when you get home, but you can use it all weekend, all week in the field without sharpening it. Finger choil. So that's another thing that's come up before. Finger choil you can't use. Well, I got really big, extra large hands, and I'm telling you, you can use the finger choil. So if I use it like this, yeah, it bites in a little bit. But if I just choke up, if I just use the finger, right, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If I want to go like this, I can chop with this knife and use that finger choil and get a really good solid grip on it, and chop branches, you know, chop food prep, you know, whatever you need to do, whatever task. If you want to do some whittling, right, I can get my finger in there just like that, and that's not going to cut my finger. I got a good solid grip on this knife, and I can do some nice whittling with this knife if I wanted to, using that finger choil. So it is 110% usable. Do I wish it was a little bit bigger? Yes, but it's not a game changer. The steel is not a game changer. The steel is great. Yes, it's not a super steel, but you know, I'm not a steel snob myself, but I can appreciate S35VN and some of those higher end steels, 110%. But you know, and you don't see D2 very often in fixed blades anymore, camp knives anymore. A lot of it's that higher end steel. But again, you're not getting that quality control, and you're not getting that personal touch, and that care for the product like you do with the Pohl Force. And the heat treat on the D2, like I said before, is phenomenal. It's great. So no complaints there. Honestly, I'm super happy with the steel, and I'll pay that extra dollar, few extra dollars, even though it's D2. I'm fine with that. Honestly, if it was any other knife brand, if it was a Benchmade or a Tops or a Bark River, and they were using like D2, I'd be like, nah, I'm good. No, especially if it's a higher price knife. But for a Pohl Force, I'll pay the money any day, anytime. And another great thing about with Pohl Force is when you contact the company, a lot of time you're contacting Dietmar himself. Just having it that someone who really cares about their knife, about their product, it goes a long ways. And I'll support a company like that any day. right? A company who's truly passionate and stands behind, you know, what they sell. So that's what you get when you get one of these knives. And, you know, they're a showstopper. You know, I have one of these, a Pohl Force knife on my table at a knife show, at a get together, you know, and people are going to pick it up every time and be like, what is that? That is awesome. How do I get one? Right? So it not only is it a nice showpiece, you know, aesthetically it's super sexy, but it works. It's a workhorse, right? And we're going to actually take it out to the field. We're going to go to Hope, BC, and we're going to go to the junkyard where they filmed Rambo First Blood, and we're going to beat this knife up a little bit and put it through a bit of a test, and see how it performs. And I have the utmost assurance it will perform very well, as does my Tactical 8 from Pohl Force, also in D2 steel. If you're not familiar with this knife, right, it's a tactical version of the MK8 from the Lastblood movie. Another great knife from Pohl Force. Also with this knife is you can take off the scales here with this key that it comes with. It's got a nice Pohl Force insignia on the key. Unscrew it, and you got a compartment that you can losing it here. There we go. You have a compartment in there, and it actually has a lanyard. So this is also a Pohl Force lanyard that you can get from the Pohl Force website. And it also comes with another longer lanyard that I took off, just because for me personally, I'm going to be batoning with this knife when we go to Hope. And I find the lanyard sometimes gets in the way. So I prefer a shorter lanyard. And I honestly take off the longer lanyard like this. And the lanyard it comes with, I just kind of make a necklace out of it and I just wear it on my neck. That's personally what I like to do. Because just otherwise the lanyard can sometimes get in the way, and I've ended up chopping it before, and that's never fun. So yeah, and the compartment in here is actually quite a decent size. I'm pretty happy with the compartment. Some other complaints you may have seen about this knife in previous reviews or comments from previous reviews is the finger grooves. And you know, that's one thing I really liked about the knife when I first saw it, is like, that's different. That's super unique. That's really cool. And they honestly work. Like this knife, when I grip this knife, it's like putting on a glove. It fits perfect in my hand. It's super comfortable, no hot spots. It's grippy, but doesn't bite. And the finish, I love a stone wash finish like this. I don't like satin finishes. Yeah, they look pretty, but they show smudges. They show all the scratches. Not this one, not this knife. You know, I can put my finger on here, rub my hands. I don't see anything, you know. So the stonewash finish is a really nice touch on this knife. Doesn't show the smudges, doesn't show the scratches nearly as much as a satin finish. You can also get this knife in a black Tanini finish. So it'll have black scale screws. It'll have a black blade, which makes it even more corrosion resistant. Personally, I like the stonewash, but there's not many of these knives left. There's a limited number that was made. You know, so there's a few left on the Pohl Force website. I highly encourage you to check out the website and get one of these Quebec 2s, or any Pohl Force knife that you may see on their website. Just the quality, CNC made. Some of them from Pohl Force are made by Lion Steel. Some are made in Taiwan, I believe. They're not made in the USA or whatever. But you know, I do like to stand by, you know, knives made in the USA, like Benchmade and Buck and stuff like that. But honestly, some of the knives that are coming out of Taiwan are really, really nice quality. And Pohl Force Company are extremely passionate about their knives, and they quality check their knives like right to the smallest detail. For example, just a quick example here. This is my Tactical 8 by Pohl Force. This is what they call a field grade edition. So if the knife has any slightest blemish anywhere in the knife, they'll call it a field grade, and they'll sell it for like half the price, and they'll tell you what the blemish is, and it just goes to show like how much they care about detail on their knives. Like I can't even see, I'm having a hard time finding the blemish. Like that's how, fussy they are about their quality. But somewhere here, there's like a shadow in the steel. It's just a slight blemish. I can barely even notice it, honestly. And, so I'm having a hard time finding it, honestly. So anyways, it's there somewhere. But that's just the quality control that you get with a Pohl Force knife, is they go over it with a fine-tooth comb and make sure that the product is nothing but the best that they're sending you. Also, the sheath with this knife, unreal. All right, like really nice coyote tan. What else do they call it? FDE, dark earth. There's 100 names for for this coyote tan, man. But man, this is a really phenomenal sheath. One thing that stands out is the belt loop is very stiff, right? It's not super flexible, which is really nice. It's a nice quality thick nylon material. This is adjustable. You can raise it up higher, you can lower it down depending on how you like to wear the knife. What the biggest, nicest feature is inside here, there's actually a velvet liner to prevent the knife from scratching. So, wow. And then there's a leg harness here to strap it to your leg. When you put the knife in, it goes in super smooth, locks in there nice and tight, and there's no rattle. You can't hear any rattling at all. And it's super easy to deploy. That wasn't hard at all. Right? Goes in there nice and tight, super easy to deploy. So really, really great job on the sheath. You can also comes with a nice PVC rubber patch. Very, very nice patch. Very well detailed. The Velcro on it is really strong Velcro. I use it on my backpacks, on my jackets. I have a few of these patches from the Rambo Lastblood series knives. And, I can't say anything but great things about the quality of the patches as well. A lot of times when you find with these rubber patches, I'll find like the stitching will come undone. That's quite common with rubber patches. But I've never had that issue with the Pohl Force rubber patch. So, awesome job on the patch. So yeah, I got really nothing but great things to say about this knife. It's super comfortable. I'm really excited about using it out in the field in Hope. It's got a nice thick spine, not too thick, and it's not too thin. I find some of the Tops knives, for example, yeah, like the Operator 7, it's got a nice, really thick blade. It looks really cool, but it's not very effective when you're using it to baton. It's kind of slow and sluggish, so I'm looking forward to using this one. I use an SE6 a lot for batoning, or an SE Jungless, because a nice flat grind is really good for batoning, right? And this is it's not a flat grind, but it's fairly close. It's not too bad, right? It's fairly flat, so I shouldn't have an issue batoning with this, because it's got quite a flat surface here, which is going to be really nice for batoning. And this edge here is kind of a false sharp edge. It's not sharp. I'm running my finger along it. However, you can sharpen it very easily if you want it. Maybe use this knife for piercing. You can have it put a double edge on there, so have an edge here and an edge up here, and you can do that, have that option if you wanted to. Right, there is these holes. There's no hole through here. That would have been nice. I have a nice feature. Although this crossguard is big enough, you can still wrap cord around here, you know, and use it. And then it still is very functional, and it's actually a nice guard on the knife, especially holding it like this. You know this guard is going to protect you. There's no way I'm going to slip if I'm holding the knife like this. You know, and I'm doing work here. That's very comfortable. Very comfortable. There's no knife. I'm not losing this knife, especially because of these grips, these finger grooves. Like, my hand is locked in there. I can even use this groove right here, this choil. I'm locking it in. And am I cutting my finger? No, I'm not. I'm gripping this knife as hard as I can grip right now. Right? So, very, very functional. And super comfortable in the hand. It's one thing you'll find with a lot of camp knives, right? These are the hot spots. And they're just not comfortable. Yeah, they're awesome and they're badass. And yeah, you might be able to beat up some wood, but they're just not comfortable. But man, this knife is comfortable. And it's a perfect size. And it's a good defense knife too. You know, self-defense against, you know, out in the bush against any kind of wildlife. It's you know, you want that extra protection. This is a great knife to have, a great companion. As far as like a combat knife, if you want to use it as a combat knife, you also have that. You know, I was in the military for 20-something years. Was overseas in Afghanistan and stuff, you know, and if I wanted to take a combat knife with me for military purposes, this would definitely be one I would want to have on my belt. And the best part too is that it's got a little storage compartment, right? You can then put survival gear in there. You can put Tylenol in there, Advil, pills, your morning meds, whatever, matches, fishing line, a little snack, some gummy bears. I don't know, man. Take your pick, right? But you got it. You got that space in there for it. Yeah. So this is the Pohl Force Quebec 2, 12 inches overall length, 7-inch blade. The handle is about an inch thick. You know, the spine here is probably a quarter of an inch, maybe at least. You know, it's not too thick, but it's not too skinny. And again, the D2 steel on this knife, phenomenal heat treat. You know, it's not a super steel, but it's still a really good steel. And the quality you get with this knife is worth paying that extra few dollars, as well as just the passion that you get from Dietmar Pohl and the Pohl Force Company when it comes to their knives. I'm very, very happy to support this company. And I'd like to see them around for a long time. That's why I get Pohl Force knives as well, and they're very functional, you know. So yeah, there it is. And then the packaging is also really, really nice packaging. You get a certificate of authenticity, signed personally by Dietmar Pohl. You have your individual serial number here. Also comes with a picture of the man himself, Dietmar, with the Quebec 2. And you see the black version here, all blacked out. Really cool, kind of stealthy looking option. Yeah, so definitely recommend getting either the stonewash finish or the all black Danini finish. Pick up one of these really cool lanyards, also by Pohl Force. They have them on their website right now. Double-sided skull, super cool. I'll show you the compartment real quick here. We'll just pop it open. It doesn't take long. That's another thing, like, see how easy this is? And they don't use Loctite, which is really annoying. You know how many screws I've stripped because of Loctite, and the screws have been busted, and I have to contact warranty on the company and get them to send me new screws, and because the stupid screws are misthreaded, you know, or stripped now. Well, not these ones. Really nice. You can use any flathead screwdriver to get this off. Really good quality screws. So there's the extra money right there, worth every penny. Just for the screws. Like, man, because how many screws I've stripped over the years because of cheap butter screws. Nothing pisses me off more than getting a brand new knife and stripping it the first time you take off the scales. Frustrating. But anyways, look at this. That was super easy. Look at this compartment. Really deep compartment. And then this side also has a groove as well, right? So it adds that extra room. Really, really nice job here. And then you can use this as a spear if you want. You can use paracord, strap this around a stick, and now you have a spear. So that's just another really cool feature of this knife. Yeah, and I'm gonna put on the scales, put these back on. You know, it's not very hard at all. It doesn't take any time. Sometimes they gotta line them up a little bit because they do go on in a certain way with this knife. So you might have to play around with it just a little bit. There we go. That's it. That was nothing. That was not no time at all. And you get these screws back in. Again, you can use the key it comes with, or just any flathead screwdriver will do the trick. And there you go. And it locks in. Like I've been taunting a lot with my Tactical 8, and these don't come loose. You don't need Loctite. There we go. Good to go. Okay, so there it is. Pohl Force. As you can see, the signature of the design, company name there. Individual serial number. You got a nice Pohl Force stamp right there on the blade. Blade steel. And just the contouring here. It's so smooth. It's so nice. Perfectly round, symmetrical contours all the way around. So, yeah, and another great feature with this knife is you can actually get belt loops from Pohl Force as well. They're on their website right now, and you can actually attach these belt loops to the Quebec too, and so you can wear it directly on your belt if you don't like it as a kind of a dangler option, right? I don't really like a low carry personally myself. I prefer to have it kind of high on the belt, so I'll be attaching the two belt attachments onto here and basically securing it right to my hip. And we'll be doing that in a couple days in Hope, in the junkyard where they filmed Rambo First Blood. And that's kind of where, you know, Pohl Force, where his passion for knives began, is with, you know, Rambo First Blood and first Jimmy Lyle knife, First Blood knife, and then it kind of ballooned from there into a passion for knives, right? And then here we are today with this really nice Quebec 2. And then I'll be doing some more reviews on the MK9 Heartstopper, MK8, as well as the MK11 and the Legacy knife. So stay tuned to my channel for more Pohl Force knives, as well as I'm going to be just doing some bushcrafting videos, just going over like tactical gear, what I wear, you know, when I go out into the bush, when I go out for a hike for a few days, what kind of backpack I use, what I pack in my backpack, as a grab bag, what I wear when I go to the field, whether it just be for a 2-hour hike, a 4-hour hike, a 2-day hike, or even a 1-week hike. You know, I like to have all the nice gadgets and bells and whistles that I can have, but still be light enough to carry, and then not be weighed down. And I'm always like kind of worst case scenario person, so I like to be prepared if I came across a bear, if I came across a cougar, and especially being here, you know, in Alberta, BC, and they're everywhere, right? So sometimes, you know, just a bit of bear spray, well, it doesn't quite cut it, you know, and especially if you're in the national parks, you can't carry a firearm, right? So it's nice to have a decent sized knife like this, not just a little pocket knife, but something that's got a nice decent sized blade on it, something that you could actually, you know, give yourself a chance in a self-defense situation. And this knife would do that. You know, it's a good size piece of steel, and extremely sharp, extremely tough. So yeah, this is it. Really happy with this knife. Make sure you stop by the Pohl Force website, pick it up in black or stonewash. They're running out pretty quick, so don't wait too long. And you know, I've waited on knives before and I missed my opportunity, and I haven't forgotten. You know, I kind of beat myself up all the time on a knife, on a Pohl Force knife that I might have missed. You know, because you look at the price, and especially if you're in Canada or the United States, the price is double, right? Because the prices are in euros. But I tell myself, you know what? If I don't pull the trigger on this, I'm going to regret it. And you know what? I've missed the Quebec one. I missed other Pohl Force knives, and I regret it every day. You know, so if you got to save, you know, for a couple extra weeks, just do it. Or, you know, you just got to put it on the credit card and then find a way to pay it off after. It's worth it. I'm telling you, like, these knives are beautiful. They're super functional. You know, don't get me wrong. I love my Bark Rivers, my Bucks, my Benchmades, my K-bars, my Tops. You know, they're great knives. But when I put a Pohl Force on the table and I put any other brand on the table beside it, the Pohl Force is going to win every day, every time. It stands out. You know, you're getting a Ferrari, you're getting a Lamborghini of a knife. You know, you're just getting that showmanship, that look, that quality. You just can't beat it. You really can't. So yeah, there it is. Make sure you stay tuned for my video in Hope, BC at the First Blood Junkyard, coming soon. All right, take care.